Hey peeps, what's up? Manchi here, back with another video, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can do the big 3 wiring upgrade on your Ford Mustang, the S197 platform. So this is going to include the vehicles from 2005 through 2014. And this here is the wire which we're going to use. This is Temco wire 10 linked in the description of this video, and I'm going to link the the heat shrinking tube as well, which you need, along with your Temco copper lugs which I got. Everything is linked in the description of this video. So we're going to try and do an upgrade of our battery negative to chassis, which is this one to this one over here right below the strut on the passenger side. Next up, we have to run our 10 wire from the alternator to the positive battery terminal. The alternator on the Ford Mustang 2013 is on the driver side. This silver wire with the rubber boot which you see, that is our alternator wire from where we're going to run 10 to the positive battery terminal. This here is a 13mm bolt. And the last part of the big 3, or the third of the big 3, is from the chassis to the engine. So this here is on the driver side. You have this wire which is running from here, which is the chassis to the back of the engine. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is from the alternator to the positive battery terminal. I have successfully removed this 13mm bolt. Now a 1x4 battery lug was not fitting onto this bolt, and a 3x8 fits, but you have these two circular plastic things around it which were making the lug hard to fit. So I had to break a little bit of the plastic piece from here, but a 3x8 lug will fit on here. And if you do not want to break the plastic piece, buy a 10 to something between 1x4 and 3x8 battery lug for your alternator. And here it is, peeps. We have successfully done the 10 wire run from the alternator to the positive battery terminal over there. I used around 5 feet of wire. I have a zip tie over here, and then another zip tie over here, and then I am going to run this wire behind this plastic part over here. Of course, I did cover up the wire because it is going to be near the engine. And here it is connected to the positive battery terminal. This is a 1x4 battery lug, and the one on the alternator I used is a 3x8. But as I mentioned earlier, you can use something between 1x4 and 3x8 as well for the alternator connection. For our next ground, which is going from the chassis to the battery negative, if you look near the passenger side strut, you will see 2 ground points. This is the first one, which is closer to the battery, and then the other one is farther from the battery, which is this one over here, and this one connects to the fuse box. But we are concerned about the one which is closer to the battery, and this is the one which we're going to use to connect to the negative battery terminal. If you are using 4-gauge wire, then this is how you have to put the lug. So this is the position of the lug on the chassis ground, and then on the other side you can just connect it to the battery negative terminal like this. Do note, both of these are 1x4 battery lugs, and this is how I have twisted the wire. So I've turned it around like this and then connected to the negative battery terminal. Now in case you want to run 1/0 wire from your chassis to the battery negative, then you have to put the lug like this and then run this wire under the strut. This is the wire going around over here, going around, and then connecting to the negative terminal on the battery. The length here is around 30 or 32 inches end to end, and of course both of these lugs, this one over here is 1x4 and the one on here is 1x4 as well. Now coming back to this, the one from the chassis to the engine, this is a pain. Trust me, this is a royal pain. You can easily remove this one, but to remove the 10mm on the back of the engine, you do need to use a wrench. Your power tools are not going to fit in there, and then the connection over there is kind of weird. If you have too big battery lug, I tried with 1/0 wire, there wasn't enough space for the battery lug to fit over there. Then I tried with 4 gauge wire. Now with 4 gauge wire, I was able to fit the 4 gauge battery lug over there, but it would not work with the factory wiring. So it was either you use the 4 gauge wiring or you leave this factory wiring. And me personally, I decided to leave the factory wiring as is, but if you do decide to use your 4 gauge wire, then feel free to do so. Both of these will be 1x4 battery lugs. So 1x4 battery lug over here, and then another 1x4 battery lug at the back of the engine. And trust me, that 10 mm is going to be a pain to remove and install. So proceed with caution and make sure you do it when you have enough time, because it can turn pretty frustrating. Now, if you are able to do something better than me, do let me know in the comments on this video about this ground over here, which is going from the chassis to the back of the engine. Your advice would be highly appreciated. And because I was not able to run my upgraded wire from the chassis to the back of the engine, I think in the future what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a wire from the alternator, that is the alternator mounting bolt down there, up to the negative battery terminal, or you can also run it to this strut ground which we just used. So that would make it, big 3 in case you're not able to do that, the chassis to the back of the engine. And hopefully this video helped you out. Any tips which you have for me, make sure you mention them in the comments on this video. And there it is, peeps. That is how you do the big 3, or in my case, the big 2 wiring upgrade on your Ford Mustang S197 platform, which includes the year 2005 through 2014.